All right, folks, we're back here again. Time for some Golden Globe predictions. Finally get around to this. And by the way, just a little info. If you ever hear any like pounding or whatever, that's we're getting some renovation done at the house here. So we'll get started here with Golden Globe predictions. Of course, nominations aren't going to come out here for about another month and a half, roughly. I think it's about 6 weeks or so. It's the coming. I think it's the second Monday in December, which would be like the 9th or something like that. See if I got it. Hey, right on the money. Yeah, December 9th. So yeah, we do have a little bit of ways to go here. And of course, at this early stage, like I kind of said in the last video here, we don't know for certain what categories all the studios are running all the films in. Like for me, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood right now is in the drama categories, even though an argument could be made it could be in the comedy ones, even though, yeah, a lot of Tarantino's work, even though it has been comedic, like, you know, Django and Inglourious Basterds and stuff, they were in drama. All those years and stuff. So, yeah, that makes sense and everything, I guess. But it's like, yeah, you never know. It's like Bombshell, you know, we saw a second trailer for that come out and stuff. And that could end up in the drama race, I guess. I mean, looks like there's enough in there for it to be considered a comedy. And I think if Lionsgate and company are smart, they'll realize that, yeah, that comedy race, it seems, to me at least, to be a little less thick than the drama race as far as the big heavy hitters. I think a lot of those heavy hitters this year are going to be more or less obviously in the drama race. Okay, so with that being said, we'll move on now to my predictions here. We'll start with the screenplay, and then we'll get into the acting categories, and then up to director and film. So starting with screenplay, I think there's 4 films I think here are pretty much locks right now, and they're Irishman, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Jojo Rabbit. It just feels like those 4 can't miss, unless, you know, Marriage Story or, you know, something like that totally falls apart later on, which I don't think will happen. I mean, it's last I checked, it's still 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. They had like Bombshell, a second trailer come out. Man, that I really like that second trailer. It does look like a kind of more. A little more hard-hitting of a film than Baumbach has done in a little bit. So, you know, most of his films have been more lighter and more comedic. And this looks like definitely will have some comedic moments, like the Julie Haggerty parts in the trailer already had me just cackling. But, of course, maybe it's just because it's the chick from Airplane, you know. But you never know. But it looks like, yeah, there's definitely going to be comedy moments in there. But, yeah, a lot of the reviews are saying, no, it's a drama film. There's definitely some parts that are sad and everything. Yeah, and from the trailer, it looks like it. It looks like Driver and Johansson are both really on that, you know, a human level, just really at a low point. Both of their characters are. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, but that's like I said, I think that one's pretty safe. Irishman, of course, feels very safe. Scorsese and everything. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, yeah, I do think it'll definitely get in for like screenplay. For me, DiCaprio and this is at the Oscars, by the way. DiCaprio and the screenplay, I think, are definitely safe. Best Picture probably is a good bet with the up to 10 range there, even though, yeah, I think it's leading in the polls still, but I'm still not 100% convinced it's going to win or anything. Yeah, and then after that, it's like a couple tech categories. I'm still on that boat, and yeah, after that, it's kind of, you know, Brad Pitt could fall to the wayside, Margot Robbie could fall to the wayside, especially, and we've heard a couple reports that Bombshell, by the way, is also screened. And yeah, pretty much since then, Charlize Theron has really taken off in the Best Actress race. Seems like it could be a one-on-one race between her and Renee Zellweger for Judy. So we'll have to see. Of course, it's a little early still, but and yeah, and evidently of the 2 supporting actresses, it seems Margot Robbie and Nicole Kidman are the 2. Maybe Margot Robbie has, I guess, more of the emotional moments and more of the, you know, stuff like that. So that could be her nomination this year, is actually Bombshell and not Hollywood. But again, that's stuff we'll get to later on. So Bombshell actually is my prediction here for the 5th nominee for this category. But it feels kind of open right now for that last slot. I mean, between these, it seems like it's Bombshell is in there. Parasite just opened up and it did crazy business in limited run. It was like one of the top, I think, 15 best per theater averages of all time or something like that. So it did very well. 2 Popes, it's Anthony McCartan, who's, you know, kind of been on fire lately with the Oscar stuff. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood could be in there. The Farewell could be in there. Little Women could easily get in. Knives Out, maybe. Booksmart, maybe. Yeah, so it feels like that. Joker, I think a few people are talking about as well. I don't think the script is, there's some sections of that movie where the dialogue is just very routine and very kind of functionary to get the plot going. Once we get toward like the parts where Joaquin is the actual Joker, that's when like the script kind of has fun and the dialogue becomes fun and all that. But again, I want to spoil that movie so bad and talk about some of my favorite parts in it, but I can't. Yeah. Anyways, maybe another day. So yeah, those are my 5 again: Irishman, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, JoJo, and Bombshell. Okay, then moving on to supporting actress. The 5 I have here are I'm still going on this wild thing for Jennifer Hudson Katz. Yeah, I'm still on that just because it just from the trailer she seemed like the standout. I have Laura Dern in second place for Marriage Story. I don't know, that second trailer didn't really give away too much of her performance there, but I don't know, a lot of people have said, yeah, she could easily win this thing this year. And then I have Annette Bening in third for The Report. And then I have Jennifer Lopez in for Hustlers for supporting again. Nothing official yet from STX on whether they're running her lead or supporting. Again, if they're smart, I think they'll go supporting. They can get away, by the way, here at the Globes if they want to put her into the lead actress drama category. I think they can make that swing, but I think they can swing that, but after that, it's tough. I mean, they have up to 6 slots at the Critics' Choice, for example, so that could work for lead, and then after that, it's like SAG. Yeah, SAG feels a little tougher, so yeah. And obviously, yeah, I don't know how well BAFTA is going to go for it, especially if it's a lead performance. That might be one of those cases like Foxcatcher, where Steve Carell was nominated everywhere for lead, I think, except for Critics' Choice that year, and then he wound up getting nominated for supporting at BAFTA, and him and Ruffalo both, I should say, and then it was kind of a mystery. It's like, oh, are they going to go supporting now, or is it still going to be lead, or is he even going to get in because of the whole splitting and all that vote splitting between they put him in lead, they put him in supporting, but no, he ended up getting nominated in lead anyways. So, but yeah, and then the 5th slot again kind of feels a little open right now. I have that for Margot Robbie right now for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though. The reason I have it there is just because I feel like they're going to have Bombshell, I think, in a lot of slots this year for the Globes. I think they'll go really big on this one for Bombshell because it is, a journalism movie and all that. Then again, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, again, you got to think Hollywood foreign press. They really like their Hollywood movies. They like their press movies, especially if you can combine the two. Yeah, but yeah. And then, yeah, the rest of the race, obviously, like we already talked about, Margot Robbie could also, we could swap her out for Bombshell. That could easily happen. Depends on how much they really, really like that movie. Shuzhen Zhu for The Farewell. Still have to see it, but I think it's coming out on disc here next month, so I'll definitely catch it then. Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, which is just opening this weekend, and I forgot to mention last time, is our winner at TIFF for the Audience Award. Kind of a surprise, but then again, you look at it, it's like the last 3 years they've all been quote-unquote controversial picks for like... 3 Billboards, and last year with Green Book, and then JoJo is obviously another one of those controversial picks, but I haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to get too judgy on it so far. And then one nominee we kind of mentioned early on, and now since the film has done so well, has been kind of cropping up more and more, is Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey. That could happen. I think I can't remember how many times she was nominated for the show at the Globes here, but I think it was more than once or twice. But I don't know. Who else here? We kind of mentioned, Nicole Kidman does look like she does a good job in Bombshell, and a few people at the screening there and stuff were talking about it. They said, the big takeaways are Charlize, the script was pretty good, they said, Margot Robbie was good. John Lithgow didn't get as much praise as I thought he would, and then in that trailer, it's like, ooh, I kind of had mixed reactions to seeing him in all the makeup and stuff. It's like, he looks like Roger Ailes. Obviously, they're trying to make him look like this putty, pathetic, disgusting guy. Obviously, that fits for the script and the story they're telling, obviously. But it's just, I don't know, it just almost looks like it's too far overboard to where it's like, it's almost like a parody, like a Pizza the Hut kind of makeup job. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind on whether or not that's, and obviously, if it works in the context of the film, that's fine. But just at that first look, it just kind of was almost like, okay, I get what you're doing here, but it's almost overkill. And not to the point where I'm offended by it or anything. No, because obviously what Ailes did was not good. I don't want to defend his position at all for his personal life and all that. But it's like, man, it just almost looks like, again, like you're almost like going, joking the joke a little too much. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Let's see, who else for supporting actress? A couple people are still betting on Meryl Streep for Little Women. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's kind of surprising we haven't heard too much early word on this one quite yet, but I don't know, they might save it. I don't believe it's in the lineup for AFI Fest, which will be in about a month or a little less. I know like Queen and Slim will be there. I think Bombshell will screen there as well. I forgot. I saw it the other day, but I totally forgot. I think 1917 I think is going to premiere there. If I saw that, yeah, I'll look that up later, but not in this video. But I'll get it to you later. Let's see who else. I don't know. We did see. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but the trailer for Richard Jewell, which is the Clint Eastwood movie, and it's again last minute. Warner Brothers is pushing him in the Oscar race last minute. They did that with The Mule last year, and that didn't work out, and I didn't end up liking the movie very well. But Kathy Bates is somebody who I think hangs around the awards circuit pretty well. She got nominated a few times for like the American Horror Story series lately, and of course, about Schmidt and Misery back in the day for Oscar nominations and that, and I think Primary Colors too. So yeah, I don't know. She looks like she does a good job in the film and stuff, just based on the trailer, of course. But yeah, we'll have to see. She might be a late breaker in the supporting actress race too. Okay, then supporting actor, again, kind of going with more of my Oscar picks here. I've got Jamie Foxx still out front for Just Mercy, then John Lithgow in for Bombshell, Tom Hanks for Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Then I do have Joe Pesci in over Al Pacino for The Irishman, but again, I think it's probably one of the two. It looks like there's enough competition here that both of them can't get in, but you never know. Let's see here. And then my fifth pick actually is Brad Pitt this time, and I think they'll go Brad Pitt here because of the movie star status. I think the same goes for Margot Robbie. A little argument can be made for that too. So that leaves out Alan Alda as my last one in the Oscars there, who doesn't get in. But yeah, like I said, this supporting actor race is still, pretty packed to the gills here. You got Anthony Hopkins. Again, we're not sure if both he and Jonathan will go supporting or lead, or if they will split it like it is set up right now, at least, according to a couple sources, which is Hopkins supporting, Jonathan Pryce lead for Two Popes, even though it looks like Anthony Hopkins is more the main character to me, at least from the trailers and stuff. But anyways. Then Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. Again, I feel at the Oscars he's got a better shot for acting than he does for directing. He'll definitely get in for writing this year for Jojo, just because adapted screenplay is a little weaker, just in the field there. Let's see here. Who else? Lighthouse opens this weekend in limited release. Willem Dafoe. I think the traction is he's kind of losing a little traction lately, but we'll see. Once the film opens up and more people see it, we'll see if it picks back up again, or and all that. And I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I haven't seen too many of the trailers or anything, or too much, so I don't know much of the story. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to kind of seeing that one kind of blind. So so that'll be a fun experience, I'm sure. Timothée Chalamet, again, whenever the Little Women trailer screens, I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like he has a lot to do in this movie. So maybe he's, again, maybe a last-minute nominee who comes in here. Yeah, I think that's kind of about it for Globes, at least. But, yeah, for that category, at least. All right, then we'll get into the lead acting nominees here. We'll start with the comedy musical race. So now with the screenings and everything with Bombshell, it feels like Charlize is almost a lock right now for winning this thing. And I know it's early, but man, I look at the rest of the field here and it's like, I don't know if they'll really go for anybody else here. I mean, it's Awkwafina, I think, will get in for The Farewell here. This could be her only nomination of the year, except for like the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice. Maybe she gets in there. Maybe she gets like one of those like best actress in a comedy. I don't know if they'll rule it a comedy or not. And again, just looking off the trailers, it looked like it was more of a drama than it was a comedy. Having not seen it, I'm not sure. But right now, it looks like it's running in the comedy race. Which again, if it has enough of that, it's probably a good idea since that drama race feels a little stacked here. And then I have now Booksmart. I think has a good shot at getting one of its lead actresses in. I think Caitlin Dever has the better shot personally. Just kind of her role in the movie is the little more restrained one, the little more kind of more serious one. But then again, her co-star Beanie Feldstein, I think, also does have a decent shot. Hers is the more kind of out there comedic role, so that sometimes they go for that here. But I think more lately they've been going for like the more more drama in the comedy. So that's definitely more Charlize, more Awkwafina. Stuff like that. So, so I think Caitlin Dever, her role more fits into that. Then I have Emma Thompson getting in for Late Night. That was another one I missed. I'll have to see that one sometime. And then in fifth place, might be just a personal vote for me, but I'd love to see it happen, is Cate Blanchett for Where'd You Go, Bernadette, which, she was obviously the big part of that movie there. And that was, not too many people saw it, but I did. And I think, yeah, she made the movie work for as well as it did work. I didn't think overall it was enough for me to recommend it, but it was definitely, her part was fantastic. Fantastic. So yeah, those 5 I mentioned. Yeah, Beanie is also, I think, going to be close in there. And, that's the thing with the Globes, too, is they can get up to 6 nominees if there's a tie. So maybe there's 6 nominees. I feel like if that's going to happen anywhere this year, though, it's the it's the film drama category could be the one place that happens. But I don't know. We're not, obviously it's, you can't really call those. That's kind of difficult. And then Thomasin McKenzie is going to run lead, at least for right now, from what I'm hearing, for Jojo Rabbit. So not sure. The Caitlin Dever and the Beanie Feldstein, the same argument goes for, they don't love to go with younger actors and actresses all the time. Like, I remember Haley Steinfeld missed out for True Grit a few years ago at the Globes here, which is why I was kind of surprised she got in for Edge of 17. I was rooting for it, and I was glad it happened, but I was like, I knew it was a long shot. But yeah, they don't really like to go for those younger actors and actresses. Again, unless it's like Timothée Chalamet a couple years ago, where it was just a known thing he was going to get in. But yeah, it's not guaranteed at this rate for either of those two, or for Thomasin. But I don't know. It feels like there's enough, levity in the field there for, Charlize is probably guaranteed. Awkwafina is a good bet. And, Emma Thompson is, she usually gets in for stuff like this. So that leaves a spot or 2 open. So, yeah. Let's see, who else here? Yeah, another younger one is Francesca Haywood. She'd be the lead of Cats. We'll see how... I think they'll like Cats at the Globes. I don't think they'll love it. So I think it gets in supporting actress, and another category we'll get to later. But, yeah. Let's see, who else? It feels like that's about it right now. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, then for the actors comedy musical, this one I do have an early bet, and I think it's going to work out. And obviously it's again early, but I feel like Eddie Murphy's a slam dunk here for this. For Dolomite Is My Name, it just feels like a slam dunk. I looked it up. He's been nominated for 3 Golden Globes in the past, or was it 4? Anyways. But he was nominated a couple times in the 80s for, like, Trading Places, for Beverly Hills Cop, and for Nutty Professor in the 90s, that's right. And then he won for Dreamgirls and supporting actor, 13 years ago now. So this would be the first time that he's won for that lead actor comedy role at the Globes here, which, for me, that feels like, that should have probably happened by now. Because, Murphy was the name in comedy in the 80s and some parts of the 90s. So the fact that he doesn't have the most prolific award, or the more celebrated award for comedic actors, the fact that he doesn't have one, some could argue it's like, man, yeah. And then evidently, I think he'll have a good shot at getting into to SAG for lead actor. I have him nominated there, and I have the film nominated for ensemble there. I'll get to SAG nominations another time, but yeah, if he just feels like a slam dunk to me here. To win this. And then Taron Egerton, I think, is going to be in that second place competitor, though, because Rocketman, it is playing a celebrity more, and obviously, I think whoever the real actor's name is for the Dolomite movies and stuff, I think that's a known actor, but like everybody knows who Elton John is. So I think, Taron Egerton maybe does have a little bit more, to the belt there for that one, but still, I think, Rocketman was earlier on in the year. I think he'll get in. The film has a decent shot at getting nominated for comedy musical, because it actually is a musical versus a comedy. Then another one I'm kind of scratching my head at right now is Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems, because, again, the trailer looked like it was definitely more dramatic. So this could be definitely one they pull last minute and put him into the drama race. So right now, I guess they're angling it to be comedy musical, which I guess, but, again, having not seen it... But yeah, I think he's won the field. I think is weak enough he can get in here. And then Daniel Craig I have in for Knives Out. That feels decent right now. And then Jonathan Pryce is my fifth place pick for The Two Popes. And again, that's not necessarily because, he got a lot of great press for the movie. Evidently, his role is the one that steals the movie. I think that's not just depending on like the field. I think that's more just, again, I'm not sure. If they're going lead him and supporting Hopkins, or if they'll both go lead, or if they'll both go supporting. I think if they both go lead, there's an argument that maybe Anthony Hopkins is the bigger name. They might go with him in this category over Jonathan Pryce. But again, it's a little early, so we don't know. yeah. So those 5, and then after that, it's kind of okay. There's a couple. Like one, I'm not gonna sleep on, and I might throw him in later. And it sounds a little weird, but it's Bryan Cranston for The Upside. It came out in January. It got pretty bad reviews, made money, but man, these award shows love Bryan Cranston. And it looked like he was actually doing a good job in the film. And from back in January, I don't think too many reviews said, "Oh no, Bryan Cranston's terrible in this movie." No, I think a lot of people did like him in the movie. So that's one I am, definitely. I think he's like that 6th place pick. Could totally surprise. It won't be a big surprise to me at least, but it might be something that some people are like, "What? What is he doing there?" But it makes sense. Let's see. Then there's also, I would personally like to see Shia LaBeouf nominated for his work somewhere along the line this year for Peanut Butter Falcon. He was awesome in the movie. His role is definitely, more the serious one, and Zach Gottsagen, I think, is the actor's name from, I think for him, even though he's kind of like the main character, again, you might have better odds running him in supporting this year. Just because he's not a well-known name and everything. So I know that might sound a little bad there, but that's, at least if I were like a publicist, I would maybe run that by and just say, hey, maybe you have a shot with that. And then Himesh Patel for Yesterday, it would be another kind of leading, in a musical kind of role. Yeah, it could happen, but it feels like that movie kind of had higher expectations, and then the movie came out and it was... most critics liked it. There were some that definitely had problems with it. I didn't end up seeing it, but at least not yet. But yeah. But again, I don't think too many people were too critical of his performance or anything. All right, so that's the comedy races. Let's go on now to the drama races here for the leads. For lead actress drama, again, I feel like early on, slam dunk is Renee Zellweger for Judy. Again, until we see Saoirse Ronan in Little Women, and maybe Scarlett Johansson does win for Marriage Story, but didn't she? Crap, now I can't remember. Did she already win a Globe once? I can't remember, but I don't want to distract and look it up or anything. But yeah, we'll find out. I'll look into that later. But I could have sworn she won for something a while ago, but I can't remember. It feels like, those 3 definitely. And then I do have Cynthia Erivo still in for Harriet. That kind of feels good to me right now to get her in. And then one that feels totally like it's going to happen, even if the movie is terrible, and it's a Globes thing, is Helen Mirren for The Good Liar. She's been nominated. I looked at for the article I did for Culture Vulture. I think it was 9 times or 8. Yeah, this would be 8 times. This would be her 9th nomination in film alone. I think she's got a couple TV nominations too, I believe. So they love her no matter what she does, and especially if this was if Good Liar was more of a comedy this year, then it would absolutely be done that she's getting in, but it is drama, so that leaves a little bit more open there. Again, if Lopez wants to run lead actress, I think she could get in here for drama. I think she could get in over Cynthia. She could get in maybe over Helen if they really like Hustlers enough. Again, if we saw maybe more support for the movie overall, like for its script or for its direction or for another actor, or if it was a stronger contender for Best Picture, maybe, then I think, you could definitely make the argument that, if there's enough love for the movie overall, then that, I think, strengthens her case to get in. When it's just her and you're running off of the star power of her and of her celebrity, of her performance and everything, then it becomes, a little bit trickier, but, and obviously it still can happen, but I think, obviously, if Hustlers was a much bigger contender for Best Picture, which, not to say it can't be right now, but it just seems like it's, there's a few other films than Hustlers, I think that would obviously strengthen her case, and then I think I would probably put her into the 5, but I think she's still hanging around that. Another Globe's favorite is Julianne Moore. She had Gloria Bell out, which again from the previews looked like more like it'd be nominated in the comedy musical category. But again, right now from what I'm seeing, that's running in drama, so that could happen. I would like to see it happen because I love the performance a lot, and that's Lupita Nyong'o in Us, really good. But it seems like the crowd's just just a little too crowded this year for that to happen. Plus, it just doesn't feel like the movie's going to get much support there. Outside, well, maybe the technical categories, maybe it'll do better. Like, personally, I would like to see the cinematography nominated. Again, having not seen everything, the cinematography was great. Score was fabulous. Absolutely great score. So I wouldn't mind seeing that nominated, too. Let's see, who else is in the field here? Then we have a couple. Alfre Woodard has Clemency coming out. I think it'll be a limited release at the end of December. It's not making a ton of waves right now, but I think she could get in. And then Jodie Turner-Smith for Queen and Slim. Possibility, again, that I think that film, it'll screen at AFI Fest, so we'll see how it does there. But the more I see, like I've seen the trailer for that one a couple times now with some films in theaters and stuff. The more I see of it, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I am. It looks good. All right, then for the actor drama, basically it's my Oscar 5, and this doesn't happen very often because most of the time the Oscar nominees will be kind of like 3 drama, 2 comedy, or 3 comedy, 2 drama and stuff. But no, it's Joaquin Phoenix, it's Adam Driver, it's DiCaprio, it's Antonio Banderas, and it's Robert De Niro for Irishman. Yeah, it's all of them. I do feel like, Joaquin, I think, has the edge here over DiCaprio since they gave him already 2 Globes this decade for Revenant and for Wolf of Wall Street. And I feel like Joaquin did win for Walk the Line a few years ago for comedy musical, but yeah, I think he's a solid pick here. They could go Adam Driver, I guess. I mean, for me, I think Marriage Story might have a harder time here at the Globes than it does anywhere else, just for getting a win, because I could see Baumbach winning for screenplay across the board, potentially, but missing here at the Globes in favor of something else, sometimes that happens. So maybe Adam Driver's like a consolation prize here and he wins this. Could be. Plus he's got The Report out. Sometimes that helps an actor if they have more than one movie out. You could argue that happened a few years, well, it'd be many, many years ago now, but Richard Dreyfuss, when he had both Close Encounters and Goodbye Girl out, and then he won for Goodbye Girl. And that's, obviously Andrew Garfield a few years ago had both Silence and Hacksaw Ridge, even though he was just nominated for Hacksaw Ridge at the end. Obviously, there's a little tricky there. Getting 2 nominations in the same category, it just doesn't. I think there's a rule that says that can't happen, but I don't know. They talked about it back then. I can't remember what everybody said, but I think there's a rule. The Academy rule says you can't be nominated twice in the same category for the same performance. Or for different performances. I don't know. Again, I'll have to try to look that up somewhere and see if that's official or not. But yeah, let's see. Otherwise, even though Pain and Glory has come out, and I think it's doing very well in limited release and all that, it feels like that's kind of trickling down toward the bottom now. He could fall out, but that's the thing. It's like I don't know who else to put in here because it's like those 5, and then we'll see because Christian Bale and Matt Damon right now are kind of the same thing with Two Popes for Ford v Ferrari. You notice I haven't said that film much. I don't think the Globes are going to go for it too well here. Not to say they're not going to like it, but just there's no obvious place for it to get nominated except for maybe here and for film drama. And that's really about it, unless James Mangold pulls it up big time for director. It doesn't feel like the script is going to be strong enough to get in over, since it is both adapted and screenplay together, or adapted and original together, I mean. It doesn't seem like there's enough of a force there in one of the supporting categories to get somebody nominated. I don't know how much scores in the movie. I don't know if it'll get a tech nomination there or not, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's going to do that to me. Even though I think it's a slam dunk for the Oscars for like the editing and the sound categories, and I do have it in for picture still, but it's not going to be a 9-10 nominee film. I don't think. So it's like Christian Bale, again, depending on whether they want both him and Matt Damon lead, or if they both want to push him supporting, or one goes here, one goes here. Again, having not seen the film, I don't know. It looks like Matt Damon is more the lead character here. So maybe, I don't know. That's a tough call. I did like Brad Pitt a lot in Ad Astra, but I don't think he gets the double nomination. Ian McKellen could get in for The Good Liar, if they really like that movie. And again, I'm not saying that it's, just from the trailer and stuff, I'm personally not interested, and I think it's probably going to be like a 40 on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's going to be in that 40 to 50 range. I don't think too many critics are going to like it either. But like I said, there's stuff like The Fucking Tourist, that gets in and gets like a film, comedy, musical nomination, actor, and actress or something. It could be something crazy like that. Let's see, maybe another nominee we're kind of sleeping on, or 2 nominees that we're kind of sleeping on, are like Mark Ruffalo and Dark Waters, which I think might be another AFI film. We'll have to see. That's actually, I think AFI is right about the time it'll open, so I don't know. They might just open that without a big festival behind it. And then Michael B. Jordan for Just Mercy is another one, and he feels like he's kind of fallen off the list there. Then, Edward Norton, I think, is still out there from Motherless Brooklyn. Daniel Kaluuya for Queen and Slim. Again, once we see the film, I think that'll help determine whether he gets a big boost up or if, or what happens there. Same with Jodie Turner-Smith. And then Paul Walter Hauser looks like he's doing a really good job in Richard Jewell. Looks like he's, if anything from that film is going to get nominated, if I had to just, kind of throw that out there in case, I would say go with him first. But obviously, Best Actor is going to be a little tougher for him to get into. Okay, let's see. Then we'll go back to Director. And yeah, this is where I'm kind of taking a couple gambles here. I've got Martin Scorsese in, and I've got Noah Baumbach in. Those are the only two I have at the Oscars getting nominated here. Then I do have Quentin getting in, Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Then I have Taika Waititi for Jojo. I know, I just said, 10 minutes ago, he's going to have better odds at the Oscars in supporting actor than he has for director. I have him get nominated for director here. But again, that's kind of going with my theme here with like these audience award movies really doing well, kind of controversial picks, doing well at the early stuff. Like Billboards got in for director like everywhere that year except for the Oscars. And then Peter Farrelly did very well last year, got in everywhere, including DGA, but then missed at the Oscars. Taika, I feel like could do that. I can see him making the list of 6 nominated directors, or 7, depending on if they tie or not, at Critics' Choice. DGA might be a tougher one for him, but could happen. Depends on how much overall love there is for the film. And then, yeah, maybe he comes up short at the Oscars for the directing category. Maybe the consolation prize is enough of the actors get behind him for supporting actor, for playing Hitler. Again, that might be a little tough. And definitely the writers are going to get behind him. I think they like him. I think the script will get in easily there. Then it's that 5th nominee. I'm going Jay Roach here. I'm going Jay Roach Bombshell. I'm balls to the wall. I'm going it. Obviously, it's early, so I could switch this at any time, I guess. But I'll tell you what. Here's my argument for this. Bombshell. Again, it's a journalist movie. I think it'll do well at the Globes. I think they'll really like it. The early screening stuff. I think people have. Definitely Jay Roach. I think has gone to that place now to where Todd Phillips, Peter Farrelly, and Adam McKay are at, where, yeah, they're primarily known for comedies early on, but then they kind of surprise us and they deliver something really good that has definitely kind of switched things up. Todd Phillips is doing it now with Joker, and I argue he did that with War Dogs, too, a few years ago. As we mentioned, Adam McKay, really needs no introduction there with both Big Short and Vice. Last year, Peter Farrelly did that with Green Book. And now Jay Roach, I feel like he's already a little further ahead than a couple of those guys because of the work he's done with TV movies like the game, or was it Game Change was the one? It was like the McCain and what's that bitch's name? What's her name? The Alaska girl, Palin, Sarah Palin. That he directed that. He directed the Bryan Cranston one, the LBJ one. I think it was, I was going to say Just Go With It, but no, that's the Adam Sandler one. It was something like that. It's All the Way, or Go All the Way, or something like that. It was something like that, that he did. They did a stage performance of it, then they did it for TV. He's directed those already, and he did Trumbo, again with Bryan Cranston, and guess what? That did very well at the Globes. Got into SAG, and got a SAG Ensemble nomination. So I feel like there's a lot of industry support for a lot of his films in the past. And here's another thing too, early bet, with all that TV work, remember the DGA nominees are really determined not just from film directors, but from television and commercial directors. And Jay Roach, again, crossing over from film to TV a lot, that'll really help him. So I think he's also, right now, not a dark horse, but like an actual contender to get into DGA for Best Director this year. Absolutely. You heard it here first, folks. I don't know. Maybe this totally falls apart, but I don't know. I don't know. It's like they like Trumbo a lot. That didn't get in for film drama or for director or anything, but it got in for Cranston, and it got in, I believe, for Helen Mirren and maybe one other one. Of course, yeah, Helen Mirren, of course. But and then SAG. It was Helen Mirren, Bryan Cranston, and the ensemble. It was like, yeah, and obviously it kind of crapped out by the time it got to the Oscars. But still, that being said, it's like a lot of people and voting bodies in the past have really liked a lot of his films, especially going to the TV stuff and with Trumbo. So Bombshell almost feels like that next progression upwards. It is, coming from Charles Randolph, one of the screenwriters of The Big Short. It definitely feels in that category there. And I think, yeah, again, early on, I think a lot of the buzz is it's a good job. The problem is he's got to get in over Sam Mendes for 1917, Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, or Bong Joon-ho, or I can't pronounce his name. Somebody will pronounce his name later on, and I'll hear it and I'll get it. Yeah, I still have Pedro. Let's see, Almodovar in for Pain and Glory. Greta Gerwig maybe gets some vengeance for missing out for Lady Bird, director at the Globes a few years ago. Remember that? That was a big surprise. Again, if they want to go, female director in mind, Marielle Heller has Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. They could go with a big name like Tom Hooper if they really love Cats. Could be. They could go, another female director this year is Lulu Wang for The Farewell. They could go, and the director of Hustlers too, but I feel like she's kind of, her better shot is Screenplay. They could go Clint Eastwood maybe for Richard Jewell if they really like that movie. Again, James Mangold. They could go Olivia Wilde for Booksmart. That's a possibility. There's a lot that can happen here in this director category this year at the Globes, I feel. Now, with the Sam Mendes thing, I'll get back to this in a second here, but that film, 1917, again, feels like something that's like Mad Max Fury Road a couple years ago, where it's like, it got in at the Globes for drama picture and for director, but it kind of missed everywhere else, obviously. And then it's like, we knew Charlize wasn't going to get in for actress drama for Mad Max, for Christ's sakes. We knew Tom Hardy didn't have that good a shot. He had a better shot, obviously, for Revenant that year for supporting actor, but even that didn't happen at the Globes that year. But yeah, I'll get back to 1917 in a bit here. There's a reason why. Okay. So now let's go to the overall film categories here, starting with the comedy musical. I have Jojo Rabbit out front. It just kind of feels like that's the most best picture-y of the potential nominees here. Bombshell in second place. Yep. Then I have Dolomite Is My Name in third place here. I think, again, Netflix, it will help it here. And then I have Booksmart in fourth place, and then Cats in fifth place. Again, they do like to go with musicals in this category whenever there's a big musical out. Greatest Showman, Les Miserables, and there's another one I'm missing, but that's been recent. But yeah, they do like to go musicals here. So Rocket Man obviously has the same argument there, so I think that's definitely one. The Two Popes and The Farewell are also going to be in that contention there. Knives Out could do very well here. Again, Uncut Gems, we'll see. Overall, Peanut Butter Falcon is one of my favorites this year, but again, we'll see. And that one might end up in the drama race too. There's definitely comedic moments in it, but overall, I more listed a drama than I would a comedy. Yesterday could also get in, so yeah, there's a few possibilities there. Okay, then for film drama, the five I have are The Irishman, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 1917, and The Report. So, yes, obviously, Irishman, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they feel very safe. 1917, this is where I'm getting that Mad Max feeling from. It's like, I think it'll get in for score, and I think it'll get in for film, are my two guesses right now. It's Thomas Newman. And this might be a year, by the way, again, early prediction, this might be a year where they finally give Thomas Newman an Oscar. It's like they gave his partner, Roger Deakins, he both of them have worked together quite often over the years, whether that's Skyfall, American Beauty, or no, not American Beauty, Shawshank Redemption, I should say. I think that's where they both got their first nomination, by the way, too. So it'd be kind of fun to see them both win on a Sam Mendes project. They worked together with Sam Mendes a couple times, or at least once for Skyfall. I think they might have, or was there another one? I don't know, maybe. Did they both do Assassination? No, Assassination of Jesse James by the coward, whatever his name was. That was a different director. Never mind. Yeah. I don't know. I thought I had another one there, but evidently not. Anyways, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. It'd be kind of nice to see them both win an Oscar the same night, That'd be kind of fun. Especially, like I said, since they kind of started together on Shawshank like that. But, yeah. Obviously, Deakins and those guys worked before, but it's like, it was kind of nice. They both got their first nomination for the same film. But he also, that's right, Thomas Newman did have Little Women that year, too. So, anyways. That's neither here nor there. Just some fun Oscar history for you. But 1917 also feels a little bit like Black Panther, where it's like it's hard to fit that film, Black Panther, for the Globes at least, into an acting category. It didn't make it in for director, didn't make it in for screenplay, but it got the music categories and then best film. So 1917 might pull that too. Obviously, I don't think it's going to have a song, but it could easily do score and film. And then The Report again has that kind of journalistic spotlight feel. So I'm kind of leaning away from it now for Best Picture. I just don't know right now what to put in its place. If anything, I would probably go Marriage Story first, and then Irishman, and then kind of move everything up. But yeah, this is one of those where it's like I'll go against the grain, and I'll probably predict the report no matter what. I mean, unless there's something else that absolutely, like, if Little Women absolutely crushes it, and 1917 absolutely crush it, with critics and with early screening and everything, and it's like, no, they're now at the level that, like, Marriage Story and Irishman are at, then it's like, okay, then I'll forfeit. But but until then, I just have that feeling about the report, right now at least. And yeah, the second trailer didn't do as much for me for the report as the first trailer did, but it was just a shorter one. But again, yeah, the rest of this field is Little Women and Ford v Ferrari, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Richard Jewell, maybe Downton Abbey is something that surprises us for film drama. Judy actually might make a weird surprise here and come back. That could happen. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Again, we'll see how Queen and Slim does. Maybe that makes a big push for Best Picture later this year. Hustlers is definitely another one. Joker, I think, is less in the discussion here than I think other people would probably like it to be, and then other people will argue it's at. But I don't know. I just overall feel like this is going to be one of those films where the Globes nominate it for actor and maybe score. Even then, that score might be a little too far out there for him too. That's true. It's kind of a lot of non-traditional music score, kind of similar to the vein of like a David Fincher, what are those composers' names? I forget. Atticus Ross and something. Yeah, those two guys. The guys who do a lot of Fincher scores. It has a little bit of a feeling to that, a little more instrumental and a little more kind of orchestral than that, but still. Regardless, I think Joker probably does get a nomination for score this year at the Oscars. I can see it missing the Globes and then getting nominated everywhere else, though. So I feel like that's kind of a good overall picture there. Yeah, the Globes, like I said, the nominations aren't going to come out for about another month and a half, so we still have, obviously, a lot of films that have to screen yet, with 1917, Little Women, Richard Jewell, and a few others there. But otherwise, I feel like these are some good early predictions. A couple of them are, some tougher ones. A couple of categories feel pretty stacked, but we'll keep going through the race here, and I'll come back with some SAG predictions here sooner rather than later. My video will stop.